What's up, everybody? Welcome, Overseas Famous Valentine's Day show. Should be a lot of fun tonight. We're here with DJ John Hunt, Michela Hall, our wild and crazy team here at Overseas Famous, and talking a little today about, Valentine's Day, love, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all that fun stuff. So we are, this is going to be fun because we're letting Michela kind of take the reins on this, and she's going to really, walk us through everything. So, Michela, let's rock and roll.
Little nerve-wracking, but I'm excited.
You got this.
Lipstick on for you guys. I'm not like a makeup chick, but you know what? I did it up for you guys. You're my Valentine's dates this year because I'll. But cheers to that. Little
Cheers.
cocktails. War flashbacks to the holiday party episode, however that ended. But yeah,
Who's winning tonight?
Who's winning the cocktail contest? Wish we could taste each other.
There's always a contest.
You're right.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. I think like Michela was telling us, she's like, we have to have for all holidays like some kind of celebration and things like that. I was like, that's like a great idea. Like anytime we can get a drink in our hands.
Like Columbus Day drink.
Yeah, like any wildly unpopular holidays.
Boxing Day in Canada.
Yeah. The way I see it, there's so little to look forward to right now that if this is what, we can make of this, let's do it. And, we're friends outside of this, I dare to say. So,
it's such a shame because I know, Michela, you were planning on coming home to come back to Jersey because if people don't know, Michela's all the way out in Pittsburgh doing her master's degree. She's actually doing something productive with her life, unlike Kevin and I. She's getting her master's degree, so we were like, oh, Michela's coming home. We got to have another party. We got to get everyone in the same spot.
Wait, was this supposed to be this week? This week you were coming?
It was supposed to be February, the weekend after Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
Christmas last year, pre-pandemic, my cousin got me tickets to see the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a true Sicilian Jersey girl. Like, he's the best. He's everything to my off-the-boat family, and he's hilarious. So the show was originally supposed to be in June. Of course, pandemic hit, it got rescheduled, and it was supposed to be the next week. They postponed it again. So that's when I sent a group chat to the team. I was like, maybe spring break, like I'll do a spring break episode. I don't know, like something, to come home. So it's been rough. It's not a hard drive, but it's.
Yeah. Well, especially with the weather there's been and stuff but we were so disappointed when you were like, oh, I'm not coming home. So we have to do this one remote, but hopefully maybe by summertime, we'll get a little bit more regular. We can all get together and do stuff.
Well, now everyone gets to see a true college girl because I have the vibe lights and the stuffed animal from my mother for Valentine's Day. By the way, she got.
You are owning it. That is like the college style.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
The rest of it's a little bit nicer, but I was like, okay, we'll do the vibe. We'll just we'll do this angle for this time, and then next time I'll switch it around. It'll be like, oh, she is a grown up. Okay, she's got real furniture. So
real furniture.
We'll stick with that.
That's like the key right there.
Yeah, I kind of got it together. My bachelor's was up on the wall, so I mean.
Nice.
So I mean, I just think love sports, love basketball, but there's so much to Kevin that comes with your experience and the life that you've lived. And I just thought Valentine's Day, what a better time to talk about dating. It could be PG-13, PG, rated MA, whatever, I don't know, but whatever details, I think it would be so neat to hear about what it's like dating other cultures. Is it different in other countries? Like, is there a Tinder in Australia? Like, how does that work,
Well, it's crazy because, the whole entire time during my career, I was pretty much like married or in a relationship. So some of these tales I'll pretty much be living vicariously through my teammates. But it was, I will say we'll start with the groupies because that shit's real. Like it's, a lot of people will talk about it and just be like, well, if you're overseas, you're not, like a big deal, but Overseas Famous, like we did, everywhere you went, you have to think about that there's fans of the team It was just like the NBA. I mean, you go to cities, and obviously it's not like every city you go to, but people knew who we were. Australia was crazy for that. They were like crazy notorious because Australian women, there's not I feel like anytime you hear about an Australian woman, you're like, huh, like the Australian women are very pretty. So when you see them, they were everywhere. And that was a crazy experience, just kind of living that rock star life. And I felt like it was the first time I felt like the Beatles. We we would walk, go to a bar, and like when we went out, it was like a big deal. Like you couldn't just go to like a corner bar and stuff because people knew who you were. Like even in other cities, they'd be like, "Oh shit, Kevin Owens," and like there was like a lot of like celebrity there. So when you went out, like people knew, and people knew where you were going. It's like you were kind of that was a fun thing. We would just be like, "Hey, this bartender is telling us to come here because we can drink for free all night." So we would all roll over there and rock out. And what they would do was advertise that we were coming. So anyone who, wanted to be possibly impregnated would then make their way to that club or that bar. And it was like all the bars in Australia were like big, huge, open outside places. And we would go, and it was just like, you could literally walk through and every girl would just be like it was like they were just like reaching for you. And I was like, holy shit, like where am I? Because I'm like, I never had confidence in myself growing up. I'm just like, so I was walking through like, what the fuck is happening? So that was a real surreal experience. And I had teammates that were single, and I had teammates that were young, and I had teammates that literally would take one into the bathroom. That girl would walk out. 2 hours later, take another girl to the bathroom. That girl would walk out. 2 hours later, we'd leave the club. He'd be with another girl. And it's like, so it was like legit that those were some of the things that like occurred. And thinking about the NBA, like that's what it's like. I know guys who played in the NBA, and that's what it's like. You're going from city to city, and these girls are like, a lot of them just like they crave the attention. They crave, you. And it's crazy how that drive for a basketball player is. And I think like tall helps too. Anytime someone's tall,
like,
yeah, that helps.
I've been out with tall friends in the past, and like if you are 6'11", if you're above like 6'4", I think the ladies automatically. Let's go to Michela.
It's funny because you're like, I've been out with tall friends before, and all the if you're like 6'11", like I've been places with 6'11" guys. We've been out, John. So who else are you talking about?
I was thinking of a couple times you and I have been out. Like, listen, I'm like 5'9", and all of our current friends, are like 5'8", 5'9". I don't know who's our next tallest friend. I don't. And
Yeah.
It's like John, Ben, Nick, Kevin. So like, if we're out, like, where are the ladies' eyes going to go to? They're going to go to the big motherfucker with the beard, the Viking guy, and
debate with women too.
good for you, brother.
Here, but like you're just pawning people off. Like, go to that one. As far as my long-term boyfriend, we've been dating for a little over a year and a half. He's 5'9", I'm 5'5". It works. Like it's whatever. But when I was single and
ready to mingle
in the undergrad days, in the like that's when you're really just like, ooh, move 5 hours from home, no roommates, party, like let's do whatever. Sorry mom, sorry dad, I was doing whatever. I had friends that were shorter than me, and I have taller friends too, like 5'8", 5'9" girls, and they were like, you're already short. So what do you need a tall guy for? Like, if you already have the difference, like, that's mean. Like, leave us the
leave them for us.
And, but I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm thick, whatever. So whoever makes me feel tiny,
yeah,
I want, because the smaller I am, the skinnier I look. I'm like, so whatever angle you're looking down on, that's just my, ladies, you're beautiful no matter what. That's just my thing. smaller the more I like it.
It's funny you mentioned that, Michela, because before I met my current fiance and I was dating, I did the Tinder thing. I was married for almost 10 years, didn't work out or whatever. And then I was like, and 10 years ago, like there was online dating. But let me tell you, the online dating nowadays, like, it's crazy. Like the swipe left, swipe right culture. But the first thing that I feel like people ask and talk about, like, is especially the girls talking to the guys, is how tall are you? You know what I mean? Because they do not want to date. They do not want to be taller than you.
Yeah.
At least that's what I got. And when I was on the Tinder thing, and I was just like, all right. If someone's like 5'10" out there, or even 5'9", I'm 5'9", they're like, nah, no thanks, appreciate it. I'm like, all right, whatever, it's all good.
Well, Michela, like the making someone feel small thing, that's like I felt like I've dealt with relationships and I've dealt with things in the past where that was like a big thing, where it was like, they're like, you make me feel small, and it was like such a cool thing for them. And it was just like, and so when you said that, I was like, it's so funny because I've heard that like multiple times. Like, you make me feel small. Like, I can just put you in the palm of my hand. And I'm just like, well, it's not like that. But
I feel bad for you. You probably never get to be the little spoon.
No, never the little spoon.
Never.
Yeah, I have feelings. I'm emotional. Yeah.
Right?
You're never able to like let your guard down. You got to be this big, manly, huge dude at all the time. Like, hey, I can pick you up and swing you around. I want to be swung around.
Come on. Listen out, dude.
Yeah. Missing out. Relationships are weird, because if anyone who knows me, you guys know me. I'm busy all day. I'm the tough girl all day. I'm always like, producer face, the president face, doing whatever. So at the end of the day, I do want to be put on a little bit of a pedestal and be like, oh, baby, forehead kiss. Like, who doesn't want that once in a while? Like, sometimes you just need a good hug. Like,
yeah.
Nothing crazy, but that's funny. So when you were dating, Kevin, because John, you said you've done the apps.
Yeah.
Dating apps.
That's where I met my fiance on Tinder.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was definitely supposed to be. Yeah, it was definitely supposed to be like kind of a fling kind of thing, and like 3 weeks later, we're like seeing each other every night.
Fling turned into a ring.
That is correct. Is that like a thing? Did you make that up, Kevin?
I think I did. I just thought of fling and ring. Listen.
New hashtag. Copyright.
Yeah. Copyright that. Putting it in with all the other 17 trademarks I have to file.
Yeah, I've heard both stories. As far as I went on these Tinder dates, and sometimes the profiles look really great. This one guy, we went out, and I wasn't really using it to hook up. I wanted to meet people because I was new out here. And he went to medical. He was going to medical school at Pitt or something, or pre-med or something. I can't even remember. He was a freckle in the ass of my life. That's what I mean. I can't even remember the date, but we were walking around, and it was very cute. We got ice cream at a little gelato store, and he wouldn't shut the fuck up about himself. And I was just like, okay. I was like, so I know it's this big because you can't stop talking about how great you are as a person. So I was like, and on to the next, kind of thing. But it is what another guy took me to Cheesecake Factory, and he thought that was fancy. And I was just like,
wait. What's wrong with Cheesecake Factory?
I'm good.
There's dinner and a dessert.
I like the Cheesecake Factory, but don't tell me to wear
Oh, that's no good.
And then take me to Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, get decked out. I'm taking you whining and dining you.
That's like
Arby's.
Arby's are like Olive Garden. I'm gonna take you to a nice Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Roll up Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Soup and breadsticks, baby.
All you can eat.
So I don't. So dating apps, were they different in Australia? Or is Tinder a worldwide thing, or what do you know about that, Kevin?
That I feel like there were things like that even at a long time ago. I felt like people were. This is the early times of Facebook and MySpace, and I think that was a huge MySpace. I remember being a huge hookup thing in other countries, like New Zealand. I remember it being real big, where people would. There's a lot of people dating through like MySpace and things like that. And I guess Facebook. I'm trying to think of like the time, but I feel like it was MySpace because you had like the music and stuff, and people were like real big on that. And you'd have like it was like the first time people would like contact me and like ask weird questions. Like we were talking with like Clara about like how everyone's sneaking in her DMs. That was like the first time I was like, who are these people? Like, why are they writing me?
Yeah.
And like you just didn't know because like it was like such a new thing. Like, you know, I remember when I was in 7th grade and my girlfriend wrote me a letter and mailed it to me on my week-long vacation, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is true love. And like now it's like you're sitting there getting emails and you're like, what the fuck is happening? So it's it was definitely a little bit of a shock, but that was something interesting that I felt like that was like the beginning of online stuff when I was in, I remember it exclusively in New Zealand because I got a lot of weird stuff from people in New Zealand.
What did you get that was weird? Tell us.
I can't remember. I just remember people like just reaching. It was like not weird. I just a lot of people like reaching out, being like kind of aggressive in New Zealand. Estonia. So Estonia was funny because when I was in Estonia, there's this girl who she was very pretty. She was like a model, and she was like always around. Like anytime we went out, she was there, and she would be like just hanging around. And you know, she would always come up and talk and stuff. And then like the one night, she was like, she's like, I'm coming home with you. And I was like, oh, are you? Like, wow, that's interesting. Okay. I was like, am I giving you a ride? Like, where do you live? Sort of thing, like my fucking stupid naive ass. And I'm just like, no, okay, like I guess we're doing this. So she's like, no, I'll meet you at your apartment. I'm like, I've never had a conversation with this. I was like, this girl has no idea where I live. I was like, okay, sounds good. I'll meet you there. Like, thanks. And then just went on with my night. And sure enough, I went back and she was standing there.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what is happening? So I was like, I had to kind of be like, listen.
Just so you know.
And here's the crazy thing too, because I mean, listen, I'm a dude. I'm like hoping, you know, like I'm a dude. So like you're far away. You're like, oh, no one would ever know. And so I like thought about that. But the one kind of crazy thing was, it was like everyone kept saying she was like 17. And I was like, all right, I don't fucking need this. Like, this is, so that was almost like I was like, I can't deal with this. But like, she, you know, it's like, you're like an older kid. So I was like, I'm fucking, see ya. So she was there and I was like, nope. Like, she's just like, I've already been in here. And I was like, really? And apparently she like was with the dude who lived in that apartment before I got there. So like she was like jumping from dude to dude, import to import, who just kept on coming over.
You had her
So
own.
she knew exactly where I lived.
Wow.
So that's where she ended up because she was like, I know where you live. And I was like, no, you don't. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's how she knows where I live. So I found that out. She's like, I was here before. Your bedroom's in the back. Is it still? And I'm like, oh God, what is happening? But that was like one of those moments where I was just like, she turned out, she was like 20 something, but they told me she was 17. So that kind of scared me off. But like, it was one of those moments you kind of like think about like as you grow older and you're like, huh, like that would have been fun. Like, but like, you know, it never ended up being, but that was,
if she was 17.
yeah, that would suck. And I thought that was like all I was thinking about. I was like, you don't need to get arrested in a foreign country. And there was a lot of those things like, please don't get arrested in a foreign country. I was like, you know, so, you know, we'd smoke weed and stuff. And I was like, dude, I don't want to get arrested in a foreign country. Like, that's like a big thing.
Too. Like, yeah, I know, like in Portugal, for example, just like off the top of my head, like the U.S. laws and constitution don't apply to you, like when you're in another country, whether you're an import or not. In Portugal, you can be held in jail for up to 10 months before you see trial. And they don't report on it or anything. They won't even tell you what you're formally being held for.
That's
so
crazy.
You have to be careful.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was gonna say, if those roles were reversed, like if some dude I met at the bar just showing up at my place and was like, oh, I know you live here. Sorry.
That's like police.
I'm hitting you. Like I'm hitting you. Like something not safe. Like that's another thing to think about the whole gender roles talk we were having the other day. That's going to be our next episode. You think about that shit, and it's like it's scary.
It is, because you think like for a girl, you're just like, oh my god, this guy's creepy. Get the fuck, like, call the police. I'm gonna beat your ass. For a guy, you're just like, wow, that was easy. Like, that was fun. That was easy. Okay, come on in. Like it's like such a different feel. So that was one of the crazier things in terms of like someone actively like chasing me down. And but like when I was in Australia, there's like a real good story of when we were playing. We went to this bar. Like I said, the owners were like, come here, you're drinking for free, the whole team. We came with the other team too. They were drinking for free, so we were both there. And it was like model city, like everywhere we go, blonde hair, everyone's just like there. And there's just like, you know, in your face, like you turn and it would just be like another one and be like, hi. But this one was like kind of attached and she was hanging on. She was talking to me and like it was like one of those times where you're kind of still like, hey, like, can I get your number? But I didn't have like a real thing there. Like I had like a cell phone, but I didn't know the fucking number. Like it was like before that time, you were just kind of like, and I think we were in like Brisbane or Gold Coast. So it was one of those things where it's like, that's what I think back in the day, it's like, listen, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it tonight. Like that, the term one night stand was so big because like there was no like calling or anything or like, hey, I'll text you, we'll get together. It was like, listen, this is your fucking shot. Like, you want it or no? So that was a fun night. So we tried to like get out of there because it was starting to get like a little crazy. Like the dude was like banging girls left and right. So we left and we went to the cab and it was like we were waiting and girls were like literally trying to pile into our cab. Like we were all waiting and they're like piling in. I'm like, what the fuck? So we were kind of like, you know, like, here, hop in this cab. And they're like trying to hop in this one. And another group came over and they were screaming and stuff. And it was like one grabbed my friend and like just like kissed him so deeply. I was like, holy shit. Like, and it was like one of my first like few weeks there. And I was like, where the fuck am I? Like, it was like, I was like, I love this team. Like, this is great. Like, there's like girls chasing us. Like, we want to have sex. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is so crazy. And then she's like, the one girl just grabs him and like kisses him. And I'm like, this is the fucking greatest thing. I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. This is so crazy. So it was one of those surreal moments where I was like, have we become the Beatles? Like, am I like, is this what it was like? Like, you literally walk through and like, you could just sit there and just like, anyone's just like, yep, come on. You just go into any room.
The Beatles, I feel like, would be tender. You guys sound like Motley Crue.
Yeah, we were like Motley Crue.
Someone in the bathroom, so and so's fiance.
Yeah,
they're all true stories.
Yeah,
I love Motley. I'm such a dork. I'm a lazy.
Yeah.
I'm a Crue head, but like that, I don't know.
That's no, I definitely agree.
It does not sound like the Beatles to me. It sounds
like the Beatles, but I felt like just the screaming and stuff. But we were like Motley Crue. I feel like that was. And I feel like that's a lot of the basketball teams I've been on. It's like you're like the bad boys. Like, and that was like something that, you know, drew people in. And I think that was why New Zealand, I was so big, because I was like kind of like a bad boy. Like I like talk shit. I was like angry. I looked like I'd like started growing my beard. I had long hair. I was a little crazy. I used to have I had like a black eye for a while. I remember a girl at a bar was like, we were hanging out. We were like friendly and stuff. Like she was like kind of would like travel similar places. She watched us play. She played netball and she was there and like we were like talking and you never know where these nights would go. And I know I'm saying this now like is like fucking offensive, you know, just could be offensive, but you're just kind of just like, whatever, like I'm just living my life, man. And that was like the crazy thing where, you know, I had one of my friend's wives was there and she was like legit, like stood in between and was like, you need to go to like the girl. I was like, whoa. And I was just like, just kind of like, we're just, you know, talking and stuff. Like I really no ill intentions, but she was like, nope, fuck that. Tell this bitch to get out of here. And I was like, whoa. So we were like the bad boys. Like, I feel like that was like, you're right, like the Motley Crue. We were more Motley Crue than the Beatles.
That's crazy. So Oh, there's a couple of questions we can get from that. Well, I guess.
You stumped her.
I know you stumped me. Was it ever? What is the best way a girl has ever hit on you? Because my thing when I was single is if I saw a guy I was interested in, I would buy him a drink.
Oh wow, I've had that before.
I would be like, I got my own fucking money. I got my own fucking confidence. Here you go, like whatever. Some guys thought it was great. Some guys were like, you're weird. And I was like, whatever, it's not for you anyway. And I would move on. But what's one thing like a girl has done that like really stuck out, like in a positive way? Maybe not like kissed you right on the face. And this, by the way, for context, was obviously before the pandemic because I'm picturing all this going down right now. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Corona.
Can you imagine like like, ugh. So, so I've had like the drink buying experience before. I've had that. I've had I was at a bar and a girl it was like super weird. She walked past me and this was kind of funny story. And I just like remember this when you said that because I was like, what's weird? And I was like, oh, that was fucking weird. And she like walked past me once and she had like a jacket on and stuff. And then she walked past me again and she had like, her jacket was off, but like looked normal. And then she walked past me again and like the boobs were out. And then she walked past me again and it was like, she was like almost naked. And it was like very, like she was like, everything got lower and lower. And she kept walking past me and like looking at me. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I remember just being like, and like we were all, it was like my friends and we're all just like, what is like what is going on right now? Like, do you see her? She just walked by again. Like what's going on? And my friends like the same thing, like a group I grew up with, they were kind of like smaller guys and they'd be like, shut dude, you like I hate you and stuff like that. And that was a crazy one. I will say this is another one, and John can attest to this. Strippers like really like me. I don't know why, but like every time I go to a strip club, it's like it's a really intense situation where like they're like ready to give birth to my children, and I've like I'm like, what is happening? Like it's like they're just like, come with me. I'm like, no, like I don't, and I don't like strip clubs either. So let's like preface with that. I always go because I get like dragged there.
Like you just don't.
I've entered the strip club with Kevin, and I've seen all the strippers just go whoosh, over.
They probably think I'm like an NBA star and I have like all kinds of money. They're like, payday.
And once again, like he's with a bunch of short guys, you know, like
yeah, you gotta
like
listen. When I was rolling with like all the basketball players, like they'd be like you, and I'd be like, oh, and you're like 6th or 7th. Like it was like when I'm rolling with like tall dudes, you're just kind of like, eh.
It's funny because when we started talking about all this, I pictured that exact night, like when I was, oh man, remember when we went to that strip club and like where did Kev go? You know, like oh, he's over there with like for the young ladies.
And it was crazy because they're all like they're like there, but it's like I don't know what it is. And Michela, this is like a great study to do. I don't know what it is. Like I feel like there's like something where like they want to like, it's like not even like let's just go in the back and fuck. Like it's like we need to like get married because they like tell me their real names and like what they're doing with their lives and stuff, and they're like, it's like they're embarrassed. They're like, I'm only here because I'm a college student. And I'm just like, I didn't ask. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, what is happening? Why is this happening? And I just like sit there. But so that was like a really weird thing, like getting hit on at strip clubs. And then I had this one, I was down in Tampa and like this one was like legit like hitting on me the whole night. And then she like danced and was like staring at me the whole time to the point where it was like, listen, I'm not like, I'm just like, you guys kind of know me. Like, I'm not like that weird, like pervy guy. So I'm just like kind of sitting there like, it was like me. I was just looking at her. I'm like, what is she fucking looking at me? I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. Please look at someone else. And she's just like staring. I'm like, I need to like leave or, but it's like in nothing. I've always had good restraint. I've always been like, nah, like we're good. Like
you just have one of those faces that people just like you ever meet a stranger and like you get in a conversation with them and you're like, how did that start? Like you might just have like a likable face. Like
Yeah, they're like
feel like, you know, and strippers are people too.
Yeah.
So
Seriously.
you know, I've been to a male strip club. I've been to a female strip club.
Male strip club. I've
been to a male strip club.
The only thing I know about male strip clubs is from the movie Summer School, where like and this is like going back to the 80s. I'm old. So like the movie Summer School.
Context for everyone again. Like I'm talking about Tinder, you're talking about MySpace. I'm like, I wasn't allowed to have a MySpace because like 2005, my mom saw an episode of Dr. Phil and this girl got abducted and she was like, you're never allowed to have a MySpace. So I don't even know. I never had one.
It's crazy. I feel like, yeah, like that. It's just, I don't know. It's, it is scary. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I could go on a whole tangent about, you know, the scariness of this world and the internet and stuff like that, but it's crazy. But summer school was like that time when I first, there was like a male stripper who was in the class, but he was like, one of the students, and he ended up being a male stripper. And I felt like it was like, I think about a woman's strip club, and the male strip club was like way wilder. Like the women were like literally, like the male strip club, everyone's just chilling. It's like everyone's back like this, and you know, you got guys like flipping bills. Like I had just like one guy like literally going like this, and I was like, I thought this only happened in movies, and he was like literally like just tossing, and the girl would come over, and he'd just be sitting there with his roll, and I'm like, this is so creepy. So everyone's real chill at like a guy's. I felt like, what's a girl? Is it like real intense? Are people like fucking like going wild? Or are they just sitting there like throwing bills too? Like, what's up?
It depends, because this one, so I went to New Orleans, fresh 21, 22, like I was ready to rage, and I went with my best girlfriend at the time, and we just wanted to go. Like there's some bachelorette parties, you know, some of them just like walking around, like what they do in like the female strip club, they just try to like, you know, find people who want to get dances or whatever. There's one, it was like, and they were literally playing tracks from Magic Mike. Now granted, again, this is in New Orleans, so like right off of Bourbon Street, so you're not going to get the best behaved people, because we're all there to be idiots, like we're all there to kind of, you know, run amok. But they did like the fire squad thing, and you know, there were just poles and stages, and
Wait, explain that. Hold on, stop. You can't just like scroll by the what?
But like the fire squad. Have you guys ever seen Magic Mike?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen Magic Mike, but I've heard of it. I know what you're talking about. It's like Channing Tatum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know the fireplace, not the fireplace, the fire squad.
You want to explain that to me?
They like all dressed up like in like the firemen overalls, like no shirt and helmet. Then they drag a big hose, and then they pretend that their partner's the hose, and then like it's just like a whole dance thing, like choreographed like together, like all of them. I don't know if like at least the female strip club I went to, I didn't see that. Like I didn't see like them all
like
working
over. Like I was
I feel like in a female strip club, it's like every girl for themselves. Like a male strip club, they're like, let's be a unified front to make as much money as possible.
Well, yeah, so it's all Bourbon Street. So, you know, if the owners aren't authentic, you know, people from New Orleans, like they're just playing off the campiness of like, they know people are coming here for trips and being tourists and being, you know, crazy. But, you know, that night, there were a lot of older women in the club, and older women are beautiful and fabulous, whatever. Me and my girlfriend were like the only 20-year-olds, 21, you know, like in our 20s. And so like they kept coming up to us and we're like, we're broke, but okay, like if you want to talk to me, here's $1, like, you know, like we're just like, okay, whatever. And they each gave us free lap dances, which again, like you never picture like a man giving a woman a lap dance, like, you know what I mean? So it was just very interesting. And then they asked for our numbers, and I was like, Peyton, this is not a good idea. And she's like, no, let's do it. I'm like, no, this is not a good idea. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, we're staying way too close to here. Like, we have to walk home alone.
Yeah.
No, let's not do it. So it was, again, just one of those things where I'm like, what would have really happened? But like, you know, I was not taking any chances.
Bourbon Street is a good time. Have you ever been, Kev?
Kids get in trouble.
I've never been to Bourbon Street. No.
It's a good time. A good hand rolled cigar, a couple drinks.
I've never been in New Orleans, which is crazy.
New Orleans, I don't know what it is about the alcohol. You never wake up hungover. I know that sounds weird, but you are always ready to go the next day.
I'm sure I can prove that shit wrong.
It's bizarre.
John, to New Orleans.
Let's go.
Hey, we're just
challenge accepted.
This is gonna sound like a real weird question, but like, do the dudes in the strip club, like, are they naked?
No.
I didn't think so. I felt like in a strip club for a female, they're naked, but like for a strip club for a dude, it's like weird to just sit there like swinging around. Like it's just, I feel like they're just, it's like all the tees, right?
Doing the helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by the fireman? The fireman's helicopter.
No, it did not.
I was like, I may have tried that once or twice. Not go well.
It was too much. I mean, it didn't. And then, we went down again, and my mom got married in October, and we wanted to take her to the strip club, and she's
taking your mom to the strip club.
I wanted to so bad.
Woo!
I ruined it. It was my fault because
all right.
It was all my cousins. We all flew to New Orleans. It was like a lifelong, like 7 Sicilian women. My uncles live down there. So they have a beautiful property. They have a guest house, and it's gorgeous. And so whatever. We're like, girls trip, let's go. So I'm like, Mom, like, come on, like, she had a boy, she was engaged, and blah blah blah. And the trip wasn't for her like bachelorette because she had been married before. But we were like, why not? Like, fuck it, buy the sashes. Like, who cares? So we go to Pat O'Brien's, and we were drinking and drinking and drinking. And my mom's not a drinker, so she was fine. A couple of my cousins aren't drinkers, but a couple of us are. So, and so I'm like, come on, let's go to the strip club, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, I don't want to go. I was like, Mom, come on, like, it'll be fun. Like, I'll pay for your dances. She's like, that's just weird, like, blah, blah, blah. She's like Betty Crocker. Like, she's 53. She acts like she's 80. I'm like, you're weird. So I'm like, let's go. I get too hammered to even walk back to, mind you, they're around the corner from Pat O'Brien's. They had to call me an Uber, and I'm sitting there like, I'm fine. I'm like, we're going to the strip club. We're going. I'm gonna put a dick in my mom's face, and I'm saying shit like this again, like, and they're like, Michela, and I'm wearing like my platform boots, so I'm like walking back and forth. It was a disaster. So I never actually got to see her face when she, if she ever got to go. But I wanted to so bad because it's like, you've never been to one? She's like, no. I'm like, that's great. Never? She's like, no. Because I think she fibs, so she seems
so
You're her daughter. She's not going to be like, yeah, I go to a strip club all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, when I'm like, have you met me? Really? Like, it's just, do you think I would care or pass any judgment? So it was just crazy. Well, I mean, my next question, and John or Kevin can answer. Kevin, I'm not super clear on like your dating history or anything. What's it like dating like with kids, like, or a career? Like, what is that like? Like, would it be easier for you to date someone with kids? Would it be easier for you to date someone who is another athlete, or would that make things difficult? Like, what kind of factors?
It's weird because like thinking about like dating someone like as you're older is tough, because you, like, when you're a kid, I always say this with like basketball in general, like you're made to have like ridiculously difficult decisions at such a young age, where you go to college, which will in turn change the entire complexities of your life. You're going to go probably meet someone there. You could either make it or break it if you're a very good basketball player. So I always say, like, having that at such a young age is like a hard thing to do. And it's the same with like relationships, like a high school relationship, college. It's tough to maintain as you get older. And as you get older, like, you don't know who you are until you're like in your 30s. I just feel like it's like you're still figuring out who you are, like what you want, like what makes you completely happy. Kids, like no kids, like things like that. So it's, as you go into your 30s, that's when you start kind of being like, what will make me happy? And I think that's like, people who are dating into their 30s now, that's like the big thing to look for, is to try to find someone who's like a like-minded. And like the cool thing is, like, you'll be able to choose, like you can kind of choose who you want to be with based on those factors. And I think it's like, you think about like The Bachelorette and Bachelor and shows like this, but like you're able to choose exactly what you want at an older age, which is I feel like that's how the world should go. Like anything beyond, like you like shake the dice and you're like, okay, now in my 30s, like now I know what I want. But I feel like because of relationships and because you're close, it's hard to kind of stop that and move on and figure out what you want. So I don't know, John, you can probably jump on this too, because I know you probably, like, I don't know if you think the same way I do.
No, I definitely think the same way you do. I got married real young, and it was fine. But I had no clue what I wanted at that point. I was like, oh yeah, opposites attract. My ex-wife and I, we were very much different. I was very extroverted. She was very introverted. And we were married for about almost 9 years. We had 2 children together. Did not work out. And then I found myself a 33, 34-year-old man. And I have 2 little kids, and they're with me quite a bit of the time. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Like, but I will say that all that time in my 20s being married, I did kind of take stock. Whether you realize it or not, you're taking stock of what you would like, or what you liked about that relationship, what you didn't like about that relationship. And when I started dating, and that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier, when you go on the Tinder apps or whatever, you're kind of like, I met some girls where it was just like, let's just go out and have a good time, have a couple drinks or whatever. And you meet a couple girls, and it's like, like immediately, like, and there's no, like, I guess when you're in your like 30s, like, it's no harm, no foul. Like, yeah. Oh, you don't like this? Cool. Have a nice life. Like it's all good. And you can kind of just sift through all that shit. You know what I mean? And, like, there's no game. I'll even say, like, go as far as to say, like, when I was like 21, 22, 23, like, when you go out and you meet a girl, you kind of, what's the word, posture yourself, like, oh man, look at me, I'm cool or whatever, and you'll pump yourself up. But like by the time you're like 33, you're like, nah, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Cut through some of the bullshit, of like some of the shit you did when you were dating when you were younger. Michela, when you and I first met, I was actually one of your teachers, but you probably didn't realize how young I actually was. And I get that all the time. Is like, oh man, like I thought you were like 32 when I was like 24. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, and it's like, and that's kind of just where my life took me. Like, I had a lot of stuff in my, childhood and upbringing kind of like forced me to grow up real quick. And I think that's what I don't want to say forced me, but made me get married so young. I was just like, okay, I get married, or I go to school, I get a job, I get married, boom, 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 boom. Life don't always work that way. You know what I mean? And when I got my divorce, I was like, well, fuck, this isn't how I pictured my life. But everything happens for a reason. Now I'm happily engaged to someone who is not my opposite, but actually is very similar to me, understands me, and like I said, we cut through all the bullshit. She has had a kid, I had a kids, right? And I think when I was like dating, I was like I'll hook up or whatever, but like, if I was to really get serious with someone, they would have to have kids, because having kids and not having kids, like, I got 2 little boys and they're crazy sons of bitches. You've met them, Michela, running around on in the classrooms and stuff. And, like I said, there's less bullshit. Like, I have 2 kids. My life is crazy. You have to understand that. If someone, I don't know, I feel like someone may say they understand if you have kids and they don't have kids, but until they really do have kids, or if they're in a situation where they are taking care of another life, you can't really, like even tonight, Kev, I'm gonna put you on blast. Like, we pushed the podcast, right? Because Kev was like, listen, priorities, I gotta spend some time with my daughter. And I was like, fuck, I'm so tired. But
I know.
At the same time, I was like, but of any excuse you could have given me, like, I was like, fuck it, dude, I get it. Like, you gotta spend time with your kids. And like, you said that's someone you were dating. they might be like, oh, that's cool, but
Yeah.
not really understand. So I guess that answers the question. You know, like I
No.
definitely, you know, like obviously I found someone who has a son. You know, now we have 3 little boys in the house, and it's awesome. It's great. It's like a herd of elephants at 5:30 a.m. every morning. But hey, man, it's the chaos that we love, right?
John, you had a really good well, it's hilarious because I was like gonna stop you, but I was like, oh, he's on a roll. You like said you were just like, so I found, you know, a 34-year-old man, and you like the way you phrased it, you were just kind of like I'm, you know, I found a 34-year-old man and, you know, 2 kids, and I was like,
Is
wait,
that
you
what I
found a
said?
34-year-old man? I was like, what a interesting plot twist this is. I was like, wow, like Michela, these questions are good.
It's all coming out.
So I was like, oh, he's like, I was you know, I was like, that's hilarious. But I was like, oh, he's like throwing fire right now. I'm just gonna sit here and listen.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
No, it's a time to be, and I feel like that was a big thing, like, at least for my parents' generation, is you get married in your 20s. Like you
Yeah.
go to college and you get married, or you marry your high school sweetheart, or stuff like that. And the way I always saw it is like, I'm gonna be selfish for as long as I can be, and that's just having a child is a really selfless thing.
Yeah.
If you're making that choice to do that, you're on the back burner for at least 18 years.
Oh yeah.
And then and then some. Depending on how much adult responsibility you want to take once you can't claim them on your taxes. I don't know. So so my thing was always be as selfish as you want to be forever.
Yeah.
Until you're ready to make the step. It's like Sex in the City, like Carrie and Mr. That's a chick flick. I don't know if you guys show.
I've watched.
Well, Carrie, like the main character, like she keeps her apartment even when she gets married, like to Mr. Big. And that they live in the apartment together, but she always keeps her apartment. And like I always tease Cody, I'm like, that might be me. I'm like, I'm always gonna have my place. I might be over there every night, but I'm always gonna have my place when I want to do whatever. And The Bachelor, you mentioned, do you guys watch The Bachelor or The Bachelor?
I don't. I honestly, I know about The Bachelor because I watched like the show that I watch more than any other show. It's the only show I watch on TV is The Challenge.
Okay.
Like obsessed. It's like my obsession. I watch The Challenge or I watch sports or Friends. Like that's like pretty much like what I watch on TV. It's like either a sports like Sixers football, Phillies, Flyers, or like Friends before I go to bed every night because it's always on. But I watch The Challenge like every single time it's on. It's my show. So I know they have people from The Bachelor.
You guys have a show called like The Perfect Match or whatever, where they 2 people get married. They've never met each other. Like these like doctors, they put them together. What is it called?
Love is Blind.
Yeah. Watch that shit. That shit is crazy.
That shit is crazy. I would never fucking do it. Absolutely not. No. Like that's like your honeymoon. Like everyone's in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, on that show there was some shit that went down. I was like, oh shit. So Kev, what they do is like they get married, like they're matched by like matchmakers, and then they're married for like 30 days or something like that, and then at the end they decided they're gonna stay married.
Oh wait, that's a different one.
Interesting.
Like Love is Blind. I thought that was it.
Love is Blind is like 50 singles go into these things called the pods, and they're like little conversation pods, and they find their perfect match, and then at the end they have to decide if they want to get married or not.
Oh no, they straight up had like a like marriage, and as the girls walk around, that's the first time the guy like sees her.
Is it Married at First Sight?
Yeah, that's it.
I love, like, I'm not a sappy, like Valentine's Day, I'm like, it's any other day. Like that shit doesn't bug me. Like if Cody and I don't do anything, I don't give a first of all, I work retail half the time, so I'm like, whatever, it's just another holiday. But like I got hinged into The Bachelor because I'm like, oh my God, because my favorite thing to feel is smarter than everyone else. And I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like that is seriously like all
Michela hangs out with us.
I know someone's I was gonna say that to us, yeah. So well, I have some games.
Let's do it.
One thing we can do games, or I wanted to know everybody's like automatic turn off. That's
smoking.
All. A, turn off, and B, turn on. So top of whatever.
Turn off is smoking.
Smoking is a good one.
I feel like the smell of cigarettes is it's like a very distinct smell. I feel like it's like I've smelled like cigars, I've smelled like the vape, I've smelled I've like, and like that's like all whatever, but like the cigarette has such a like a distinct smell to it, and like it like makes their entire body and being like smell like it. It's like everywhere. So I feel like smoking cigarettes, because I feel like I like cigars, like that's like a cool thing. So but like cigarettes have like something about them. It's like really distinct, and I'm like, whoa.
Super
So that was like something that like, and it's like I feel like it's like just like a cigarette is just such a weird thing. Like I feel like my grandma smoked cigarettes, and I used to be like, oh, I'm like, shoot. And it was like such a weird thing to me to like smoke cigarettes. Like so that was like something that I was just like, cigarettes. Like if I ever saw a girl like smoking a cigarette, I'd be like, meh. John?
Yes, cigarette. That's a good one. But I really I did go out with this girl in college once, and like we started to date. Like we went out on like a date, and then we went out with like people, and we were like we went to like a restaurant or whatever, and I realized this girl, she couldn't eat anything. Like she had like celiacs or whatever, and I was just like sitting there at the dinner table, and I was, and it was like just this big fucking ordeal, and I was like, no offense to anyone who has celiacs or like dietary needs, but I was like, this shit ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. Like, you know, like I like to eat. I like to think of myself as like kind of low maintenance or whatever, and I was just like, might as well just end this now. And I remember, I think that night, like going back to the dorms at Rowan University, I was like, hey, this isn't gonna work so good. You know, and I was being honest. I was just like, hey,
your kids never have any allergies, or you're gonna feel like a real ass.
listen, like
your life-threatening, horrible disease is not worth my time. Fuck off.
No, but listen, like you know, I like to eat. Like and even take someone out and they can't eat anything on the menu. I was just like, but then we can't go out to eat and stuff. But that's probably not my big strength. But I don't like when someone you're dating is like super like conceited. Like, and you kind of mentioned this earlier, Michela, someone who like talks about themselves and just like, you know, like is almost too overconfident. Like they just keep going and going and going. And sometimes like you mentioned, like you can like read through it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, are you compensating?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like,
it made me feel dumb because like I told you, I love what I do and I'm proud of myself for what I do and who I am. But like I was like, I'm in media. I was like, I'm a journalist. Like I didn't know what to say after that. He's going to be a doctor. He literally was like on a site in Africa, like treating children with malaria. And I'm like, I write about sports. Like I like had nothing else to say. Like I had nothing else to, you know, I didn't have anything to provide to the world in a humanitarian sense. So, but yeah, the conceited.
Yeah, it's like overcompensating. And sometimes you can like read through it right away. And it's like, you know, yeah, that's a big turn off. I remember dating a few girls where I was just like, but as far as turn ons, I do like an aggressive woman, a woman who maybe makes the first move. That to me is a big like, yeah, I'm into this.
Dominant. Don't say aggressive. See, I'm gonna beat the misogyny out of you guys. The word aggressive, and it's not just you, like other people do it too. The word aggressive, when you mean dominant or independent, is like really insulting because it's like there's nothing triggering or scary about like a girl wanting to do something first. So like if you mean dominant, pretty much like
it's like when she like the first outgoing, she makes the first move, like it's not, I don't know, like I you know, my fiance can attest to this, when you're a little bit more like, this is what I want. You know, like I want you, and I'm like, oh, I like that when you don't have to like play games, and it's just like, you know, I guess the old school
assertive.
What's that?
Assertive.
Ooh, I like that one. Let's use that.
Let's quote that.
I'm gonna come for you guys. I'm the man hating feminist.
How about you, Kev?
I'm like the song like where he's like, want a lady in the street but a freak in the bed. Like I want someone who's like that's like cool to me. Like, you know, like an underlying, and this is gonna sound terrible, like an underlying, like, because guys and girls are both this. Like I've been called a male whore, but like, you know, like it's kind of like having that like slutty like aspect, but not, you know, not like letting it take over. Like you're just there, and then but like there's like something about, and you're just like, this shit could go down at any time. Like I like that. Like I like the fact of being like this could get fucking real in like 2 seconds. So like I like that. Like just kind of like that underlying that, like it's just like not, you know, not like a good girl, like kind of like the bad girl.
Mm-hmm.
Sensual.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you guys all this new vocabulary.
Exactly.
Don't call women sluts here either. You don't do that either. Cool. So, all right. So for the first game, I have a slideshow.
Okay.
Want to screen share, or I can just read the names out loud, and you guys can tell me if you know who these people are. The pictures are just for reference. You might not. You might know. It's called Crush or Bust.
Okay.
And all it means is, that could have a different connotation now that I'm thinking about it, intoxicated. But now that I'm thinking about it, it just means no one at my other job better ever hear this podcast. So I'm so getting fired. I'm so getting fired. Crush or bust, as in like, yeah, I would date that person, or rated whatever. Say what you want to say. I want to say, or you're like, now I'll pass.
Yeah.
And this is not to objectify anybody. This is not to make fun of anybody. This is all fun and games. I do not own the rights to these photos. And there are men and women, because we do not discriminate here.
Okay.
Nice. So yeah. So like yeah.
Whether it's a boy or a girl.
No, that's cool. Dude, like, listen, here's the thing, and like, dude, there's like such like this masculinity, like to be like, oh, I don't find like that dude's not like. If there's a good looking dude, I'd be like, that's a good looking dude, man. Like, I don't want to fuck him, but like, it's like a good looking dude. Like, that's not my thing, and that's cool if it is. Like, awesome. Do you? Like, I'm like real bit, like, people get so, like, oh, you can't do it. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, do you. Like, you're you, be you, do you. It's not for me. That's cool. But like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, dude, you said that guy was an attractive dude. It's like, no shit, he is. Like, that girl's an attractive girl. Like, there's attractive people. Like, that's why there's fucking magazines and movies. Like, don't sit there and like be like so masculine that you can't even admit that like a dude is a good looking dude. Sorry.
Like toxic masculinity.
Yeah, we talked about that before. We're like real big. Or I mean, that's on the next week's episode.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that in the future. I know, because I have a time machine.
There. Yeah, and Valentine's Day, it should be all about all kinds of love. My mom sent me, it dances too, this fucking thing.
Oh, I see it behind you.
It dances.
Can we dance?
Do you really want to?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see it.
All right, real quick. I'm like watching the clock. I'm like, oh, it's turning into another holiday party.
I'm gonna superimpose Pony by Genuine while this thing dances.
Oh, okay. See, I have real furniture. Just
nice.
to preface everyone.
This is not a college store. If you're just like, oh, where'd you get your furniture? And you're like, like IKEA or something, or Ashley Furniture, like Raymore and Flannery, you're like, you're an adult. If you're like, where'd you get your furniture? Like a yard sale, you're like, you're in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like trying to hear what the song was. I was like, oh, there we go.
Yeah. It's very adorable. Love you, Mom. Love you, Joe. It was very cute. And that's why it's in the kitchen, because it has a little chef's hat. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Very nice.
Valentine's Day. Yeah.
You spent money to ship that? Like,
it's a $20 investment.
But it's all about all kinds of love. Love your bros, love your girls, love your family. It should be all kinds. All right, so I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
And
let's do this.
Here, we'll play some transition music. I don't know if you guys recognize this. I thought this was one for the old heads out there.
I can recognize it. What's this game show? I feel like I know what it is.
The
match game.
So, John, it says attendee Please cannot share the screen.
Man,
Settings.
you have to change the settings.
Or like if it gives you notification that says like
No notification. Screen share. Start share. I'm not a Zoom guy. I do all the
Yeah, I feel like I've become like less of a Zoom guy too.
This is the only time I use Zoom for this. All right.
I don't even have a settings tab.
Preferences. Share screen. Scale. It doesn't have any options to let people share. Accessibility.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm in class right now.
No.
The teacher's like, can you guys see it at home?
Yeah. It knows.
Background, chat, share screen, side by side. I don't know. Where am I going, Michela?
I don't know. I'm gonna do it.
All right, start this thing. I'm gonna start. Kevin, you go first. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this.
I wonder if you say the names and then we can just John can like put the pictures up on the after. Not to make more work for John. Be like, hey John, you can just touch this up and then build a house and then build an ark.
I didn't know if you guys would know who some of them were. I'm not sure. So we're just.
I can Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can Google if you want.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
Got your friends. Okay. First one. Yeah, I just compiled people. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay.
Crush or bust.
Oh, is that? Oh, like what? So what's the good one? Crush or bust?
Crush.
Oh, definitely crush. It's like the best looking dude in the world.
What?
Cristiano Ronaldo?
Maybe it's just a photo, because I didn't know who this dude is.
You don't know who Cristiano Ronaldo is?
I was like, he's a soccer player, but I couldn't picture him in my head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ronaldo, man.
I'm looking for more pictures, because right now the one that comes up on Wikipedia is not flattering.
Sounds like decision pending.
All right.
John just found all his shirtless pictures.
I did. I was like, oh my god, this dude is ripped.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know. There's something about him.
He's too handsome.
Yeah, like
too chiseled, symmetrical in the face.
he's a weird looking like Tom Brady. Yeah? No?
Tom Brady's a weird looking Tom Brady.
Yeah, I feel like he's like maybe Ronaldo's like a poor man's Brady.
No, I don't know. I'm telling you, Ronaldo's like, when you talk about Ronaldo, and listen, I follow soccer, so like I know Ronaldo is like, he's like more popular than LeBron. Like he's like,
Yeah.
he's like the godchild.
Okay, so next one.
All right.
Alex Morgan.
Alex Morgan?
Yes.
Crush. I like the soccer angle. I love Alex Morgan.
Soccer. Oh yeah, definitely crush.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Definitely
Yeah.
crush.
She's like local, right? Isn't she like from South Jersey?
No, it's Carly Lloyd. She's also pretty, but Alex Morgan's like, she's like young and modelly.
Yeah. Alex Moore, yeah, definitely crush.
All right, next one. Misty Copeland.
I feel like I know that one.
She's
Hold
a
on.
dancer.
What does she do?
A dancer.
All right, so she's not my type in any way, but she's a beautiful woman. So I guess I would say crush.
I don't think I'm gonna go bust on many of these. I'm definitely crush. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I tried to pick on my little Google slides. You can tell I'm in school. I'm like, I'm gonna do a slideshow. I'm looking at the pictures and I picked like action shots of all of them, so you can really see like the muscle definition.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking at, like the ballerina ones. I'm like, yeah, I can get behind her. Definitely crush.
Blake Griffin.
I think Blake's a good-looking dude.
Hold on. Again, you guys like can recall. Oh yeah, definitely. He's a good-looking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a controversial one. Justin Verlander.
I'm gonna say and like it's crazy because I feel like there's a lot of jealousy in this one because he's married to what's her name, like the super hot woman.
Upton.
And I don't think he's like I think he's like and it's like probably what people say, if I was married to like, a supermodel, they'd be like, oh,
Yeah, that guy. How did he get?
How did that happen? But his wife is who's his wife?
Oh, he's really tall.
Upton, I think.
Oh, Kate Upton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's tall. Never mind. Crush. My bad.
I don't know. I'm again, you know, he's a good-looking dude. He's better looking than I am, but maybe not my style. I do like the baseball player though. For some reason, that you know, baseball's like that's always been my sport. So I got mad respect for the baseball players.
Okay, Sloane Stevens, tennis player.
I'm looking this one up. Oh, tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, tennis player. Yeah, definite crush.
Oh yeah, she's cute. Look at her smile. Yeah. That's a win for me.
The swimsuit, Sports Illustrated came up for me.
I'm looking at, there's a picture. Look at that smile. She's like,
yeah, she's got a real attractive face.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that smile.
Really?
Yeah, definitely crush. She's beautiful.
All right, Skylar Diggins.
Oh yeah. So Skylar, this like goes back. Like Skylar Diggins was like that. You know, I think she's younger than me, but I remember watching her in college, and I trained like a few girls, and like I watched like girls basketball, and I used to be like, damn, that girl's hot.
I was gonna say, can we get her on the show, Kev?
I'll try. My God, I mean,
Can you hear us out there? Come on our show.
We were all just talking about how hot you were. We were just wondering.
yeah, we were just talking about how all of us would crush.
On you.
Yeah, yeah. Skylar's beautiful.
Okay, one of my favorites, Reggie Bush.
I do know Reggie.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude. Plus, he's like, you know, like his wife, his ex, like his other ex, is Kim Kardashian. Like it's just like, yeah, he's a good-looking dude.
Yeah, he's definitely by far the most good-looking dude that you've shown us so far.
Yeah, like I would go to bat with Ronaldo before him. Blake, I think he's
Really?
a bit better than Blake though.
Yeah,
I think he's two.
Just
Two on my list.
Yeah.
He's like GQ model. This guy. He
Yeah,
reminds me of like a jacked up Tay Diggs.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Diggs.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's okay. And the last one, and as much as it pained me to put it on the PowerPoint on the 3-year anniversary of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, since it's a hot topic, Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady's a good-looking dude.
Absolutely not.
Really? It's so crazy. I think he's just like
Absolutely not.
Here's the thing, like Tom Brady, like Cristiano Ronaldo, Tom Brady, like I'm trying to think of like
What do you take?
like Reggie Bush, Blake Griffin. Like you pick good ones. See, Justin Verlander, like that's like a tough one because I feel like Justin, you know, baseball and stuff, and like you know, John, like I love baseball and stuff, but like I feel like I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like the sport that would draw him in. Like soccer, there's something like about like even female soccer players. I feel like every female soccer player I watch, I'm like, oh, she's hot. Well, and like every guy soccer player, kind of like, man, I want to be him because like that's what they do. So I always like put it into that term. Football, you know, I think the same thing. Like a Reggie Bush, Blake Griffin, obviously because of playing basketball. There's Tom Brady though, like. You're talking about the greatest ever to play the game. So like that credibility goes a long way. And it's weird because I feel like that's like a big thing. Like we talked about earlier in the show with like attractions and stuff. Like there's like attractions to being like the best at something too. Like when you're like ridiculously good and like dominant, like that's like there's like an attraction. Like not every athlete is like a good looking guy. Like even like LeBron, if you just thought LeBron was like a you know, like a mechanic or something, chances are he's not like doing as well like with the ladies. But you know, I feel like, or like a teacher, but like that's I don't know. I just think that
eyebrows like.
But if you took Cristiano Ronaldo out and he was working at Wawa, he would still be getting like tons of ass.
Oh,
like
yeah.
So and that's how I kind of put it. So Tom Brady, I feel like he would be like just like some random douche on Wall Street that you'd be like, whatever. But like I feel like Tom Brady gets like a little more love because of his greatness.
Yeah. That's what I mean with the too handsome. Like it's just you're too.
Yeah.
chiseled. There's something.
Yeah, something's fucking off with you, man.
Something about if you're prettier than me, I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I mean? Like I don't like Tom Brady's attitude. And I'm an Eagles
Bad
fan.
attitude.
And I mean, look at me and look at Giselle. I'm not his type anyway. So I don't really think he gives a fuck if I say this or not. It's pretty for me. This crew head, yeah. Like, if anyone, sorry, Mom and Dad, any dude in Motley Crue could get it.
Yeah.
To this day.
To this day.
So now we know Michaela's type.
Say that. I'm not.
Nikki Six.
If you look like you have a felony or
Yeah.
mom issues,
Mom issues.
Look it up.
hit me up when I'm single.
I'm gonna get all the fan mail. People are gonna be like after this episode, like
Cody's gonna be like, did you say you're single? I also have a weird email from Tommy Lee. Who's that?
I repeat them all the time. Kevin, you're gonna get DMs, be like, okay, is she serious? Like, what?
Yeah.
well, listen.
Hey, I look like Tommy Lee and I'm in a band. I'm like, Michaela, I'm
Instagram on my
sending you
phone
this one
now.
your way.
It's gonna go nuts after we publish this episode. It's just gonna be like, hey, can I talk to Michaela? Can I get Michaela's number? Can I like I don't know how to turn like the notifications off because
I'm an alt rock band.
I don't know. Some of this Cody dude, but I don't know. Like,
sorry, Cody.
I love him, but we met and he looked like a douche. And we say this shit all the time. I would never say anything on here that I don't say to his face. We're my best friend. I fucking love the kid. But we met on a boat on the Allegheny River, and I was in my old apartment and I was living my life and whatever, and he has tattoo, like some kind of like viper sunglasses, like real douchey, like
Oh yeah.
sunglasses, and like these like short cut like bathing suit, and like
Okay.
a Jimmy Buffett like parrot shirt and white Crocs.
That's a tough one to get past.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Like if you were describing your ultimate like turn off like outfit,
Now
that's like I feel like that would be.
and picture that.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I literally was like, who the fuck is this guy? And he's my best friend. And we're so happy. And
See?
it was nutty. It's, just like John, like you said, it's just a
You
hookup.
just went off of first impressions.
Yeah.
You never know where you'd be.
All right, so next game, probably to close us out. Well, who are your, real quick, who's everyone's pro athlete crush? Or celeb crush, but pro athlete crush would be preferable.
Pro athlete. I'm trying to think. I'm real big on Olivia Munn. I like her a lot. That's like, she's up my alley. That's like my big one. I'm trying to think athlete. I don't know that one off the top of my head. I can't even think.
Oh, all right. This is the girl I was thinking of. All right, I got one. For a while, because I'm a big Olympics guy, I was real into Vaughn, Lindsey Vaughn.
Oh yeah,
You guys remember her?
yeah.
And I don't know what it was. I think it was just like the Olympics thing kind of like got me. And she was just like kind of larger than life. She was the big story of the Winter Olympics or whatever. And I just remember like following her for like an entire season. And then she dated someone for a while.
Tiger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I'm blondes actually aren't my type, but like that's who came to mind when you asked the question.
I like that.
The Olympics, man. I just fucking love the Olympics.
What do you think, Michaela? What's yours? Tom Brady. Nick Foles.
Nick Foles, he's very cute. He's too Christian for my
yeah.
Like, I can't do the church.
If you say God the first time you meet me in like the first paragraph, you're like, all right. And not that I'm like anti-religion or anything. I just like, you're just kind of like, all right.
I remember the holiday episode, and after we got done filming, I was like, oh, organized religion.
Blah.
Like, I was like, great.
Filters.
Well, I do love Claude Giroux from the Flyers, but my most, I say this one, and people are like, Jason Kelsey from the Eagles.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's a good one, man.
He would make me feel tiny.
True.
He'd be like, stop being so angry and stop dyeing your hair black and stop like just okay.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey's a good. He's just a good dude.
Like, he'd be a good one. So
yeah,
I kind of have a man crush on Kelsey after all the you know.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm into the camaraderie. Like, I like an outgoing person. I like to go out, and I'm not like I like to go out with my girlfriends, and it's important to have individual time outside of a relationship. But I like to do stuff I like to do with my significant other, and like I want to go to the club with you. I want to go to the bar with you. I want to go top golf with you. Like I want to go do it and meet other people together. Like so I feel like he would be fun to just take to a club, like, and just be like, oh, let's go to whatever. So all right, this one, maybe our viewers will get to know us a little bit better. I know we're edging on a little bit of a time constraint, but we're gonna play Who's Most Likely To.
Okay.
And the reason we're doing this is because single girls, guys can do it too. When you don't have a Valentine, you do Galentine's Day. And when you do Galentine's Day, you watch romantic comedies, you eat too much chocolate, and you drink too much champagne. So, and then you play dumb games like who would rather, or the one where you put the fingers down and you're like,
oh yeah,
never have I never.
Not like Galentine's Day tonight.
Get in touch with your feminine side. Your women will love it. When I'm through with you guys, they're gonna love it. So, and it's just between the three of us, so we have to like vote.
Okay.
First question. Who's most likely to walk out of a date if it's going poorly?
John.
Michaela.
Really?
I was like, John, it definitely wouldn't be me. I'd sit there for fucking like a year just being like, this is fun.
Well, I know I have done that. I've sat there forever because I.
Oh, then Michaela. I feel like I was just said you because you said something about there like this isn't gonna work.
Let's therapy, John. Let's talk about this. Who's got the biggest balls out of the three of us?
Michaela.
Yeah.
I'm pointing. It's funny because when you in my screen when you pointed that way, you pointed to me.
Well, I'm the one who's recording, brother. So I'm pointing to Michaela. Michaela would be the one who walked.
I would say Michaela.
What's your thoughts on this?
I would probably do it.
Yeah.
You know why? God made me short. If there is a God, I'm 5'5". I'm short because I'm a short fuse. I can't do it. I have no poker face. You guys know me. I have no poker face. Like I can't fake it. So yeah, I win. Okay, so who's most likely to split the bill with their date?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I usually just I pay.
I think
I'm old school.
Michaela, because Michaela, you're very strong woman.
Yeah, I would say you would probably be like, I'm paying my half.
But I think after you get to know the guy, maybe after a while, you might like to be taken care of a little bit.
Yeah, I will say it depends on how the date goes. And I know that sounds weird.
Mm-hmm.
If he's like douchey and like I'm not into like the energy he's bringing, I'll split the bill because it's like I don't feel like you holding shit over me. You know what I mean? Because some people who are not good people will do that and be like, well, I bought you dinner, now you have to come home with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if he were really douchey, I would split the bill. But no, I do enjoy the fine as I drink my $7 champagne. I enjoy the finer things in life.
When I first got together with Anne-Marie, my fiance, I won't call her my fiance, it's Anne-Marie. I'll probably refer to her from time to time on the podcast. So when I first got together with Anne-Marie, I wanted to take her out and show her a nice time. And she was like, fuck you, dude. Like, there's this thing called Venmo, so you can pay all you want. But, like, I'm just going to Venmo you the fucking money. And we've had this thing where, like, we've Venmo'd each other back, like, 6 times, after, like, a date. And I'm just like, all right, you win. Like, you know what I mean? But, no, that's a good one. So I guess we're unanimous on this, right? It's Michaela.
Yeah.
I said depending. But like everyone who texted about like, hey, they're gonna be like, oh, she's fucking weird. Like they're gonna be like, she's too much. She's too much. I've gotten that before. That's my favorite comment. I'm like,
What?
Okay, who's most likely to go home with their date the first night?
Insert crickets.
I would probably vote for myself.
I'd vote for you, Kevin.
Yeah, I would vote for myself on that one. I would, yeah.
I would.
I'm not scared to admit it.
I would vote myself, but but since we're not voting for ourselves, I would definitely probably say Kevin over Michela.
Wait, we never said we weren't voting for ourselves.
For ourselves,
We can vote for ourselves.
I've done that. I think Michela, you might be a little bit. You may choose a little bit better, but I don't know. Maybe that's the guys versus girls. I don't know, kind of mentality, but I don't know.
Nice.
I think
it's supposed to be fun, and now we're like, well, if the circumstances allow.
Hold on. Let's
like like if you meet the right person or whatever. I don't know. Depends on what stage you are in the dating.
Yeah,
there you go.
Depends on like if you're,
are you divorced and you're like kind of hanging out, or are you looking for something, or are you young and just like
assume you're single, ready to mingle.
Single
yeah,
ready.
that's how you're supposed to be playing this game.
Okay, all right, yeah. So
yeah, you're supposed to just like.
It's not unheard of, you know.
No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with it either. There's nothing wrong. I just. Interesting. Okay.
All right, moving on.
I think he's old-fashioned on the bill, but then it's the 3-date rule. Okay, who's most likely to fall in love first before their significant other or the person they're dating?
I'm gonna say John.
I would say John.
John. I'm putting her on blast. So when I first got together with Anne-Marie, all right, it was like we got together, it was great, and then the next day or so, she like texted. I was like, I met this girl. I think I even told a couple people. I was like, man, I really like this girl. She's the best. She's the best. I'm gonna maybe try a relationship here. And she like, as I was saying that to a friend, she texted me, was like, I'm not doing the relationship thing right now. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, I was like, man. And I was like really upset for a few days. And I was like, all right, whatever. I guess I understand. Like, cool. It was nice to have met you. And then it took like a week. And then she like texted me back and was like, hey.
I was thinking.
Well, it was funny, you know, like we all had stuff going on in our lives, and, you know, she didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to get hurt, you know, that kind of thing. And then, you know, a few months later, after we had been seeing each other, like we were like, oh, we'll see each other a little bit. Like fast forward a couple months, we see each other like every night. And like, I was like, I love this woman. Like, this woman is amazing. And I told her I loved her. And you would have thought I shot her puppy. Like her facial expression. And I bust her shit all the time about this. And she just looked at me like, you know, like,
what the fuck you say?
I was like, I just fucked this relationship up. It's done. It's over.
It's
and again, you know, like when you've had your heart broken, you know, myself, I've had my heart broken, you know, like, and you've been through stuff, and like when you really care about someone, it gets scary when you start talking about that love, you know, saying I love you, you know, because you've been through stuff and you've had that heartbreak, and sometimes you just don't want to feel it again, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's funny.
Right.
That's why Anne-Marie and I got along so well when we met.
Probably why.
Cody and I met we had a great day. Like, he really surprised me, like, you know, and we started seeing each other regularly. Like, we were just like every weekend, oh, my friends are going to this party, my friends are going to this party, like that kind of thing. And there was no title to it or anything. Like, we were just, he's only 2 years older than me. It's not like we were both doing the 20s, like, do whatever thing. And then 2 months after we met, sorry to get deep, I totaled my car, and it was my first car accident, like, ever. So I was terrified, because I was like, I crashed in a tunnel, like, in Pittsburgh, so there was nowhere for me to swerve off to or whatever, and like, I rear-ended the person in front of me, who rear-ended the person in front of them, and like my airbags went off, and I blacked out. Like, it was it was really bad. Oh. And like, it was super scary. And so the first person I called was my mom, and I was like, I just got in an accident. Again, this is my first car accident, 22 years old. So I got my license at 17. I had no fucking clue what to do. Yeah. And she was like, you need to call 911. She was like, you need to call 911 right now. She's like, why are you calling me? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. So I call 911. I get out of the car, you know, whatever. They come and pull me out of the tunnel. And like, the EMT comes and looks at me, like, checks me for a concussion, like, and everything. And he's like, are you sure you're okay? I'm like, yeah, like, I'm fine. He's like, you should be in the hospital right now. Like, it was one of those like life-changing moments that he was like, you should not be okay right now. Yeah. I had like one scrape on my knee, and like some skin on my, like where the airbag like scratched my hand. And I had no one to call. I called Cody to pick me up. I was like, sorry, like, I don't know, because I stayed at his house the night before. Whatever. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up. And I was like, I just got in a car accident. Can you come pick me up? And he did, without a question. And that was the moment I knew I loved him, because it wasn't even a thought. He was just, oh my God, are you okay? Because all I said was like, car accident. Oh my God, are you okay? I was like, I totaled my car, and an EMT just told me I should be in the hospital. So no, I'm not okay. And guess what? He took me out. He took me out for the rest of the day. He took me to the brewery. We saw our friends. Like, it was amazing. So those are our sappy stories. Do you have any, Kevin?
I don't.
You're saying meek. You're very meek in your...
I am. I'm like, it's weird because I feel like I'm just, I don't know. I have all kinds of issues. But like, I'm like I don't know. Like, that's just, it's something I always had like a, struggle with. Like the whole, like, relying on other people. So I just think that that's my biggest downfall, is like when I like start relying too much on people, I'm like, nah. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like I've done so much on my own that I'm kind of like, meh, I'm not, like, I don't need, this person or this person or this person. But that doesn't mean I'm like a black hole inside. It's just, it takes like a while to kind of like really get in deep with me. And it's weird because I always say I'm like an open book. Like, I'm like what you see is what you get. Like, I feel like most people, and it's so funny because I was talking about this today because I coach, like, help one of my really good friends coach at the school that I went to and graduated high school from. And now he's the head coach. And I was like, this old school where I used to coach at, the like principal and like the AD at like, the school, they like hate my guts. And I'm like, it's so weird to me because they're like looking at me. They're not like, they're like staring me down. And I'm like, it's so weird that you have this like hate in your heart for me. And I was like, it was like the one time I was like thinking in my head, I was like, I'm a fucking hard person to hate. Like, I'm like not an easy person to hate. Like, I feel like I'm pretty kind. I'm like cool, go with the flow. I'm like real laid back and chill. But so I was like, it's so weird that people hate me this much. And I just think it's like being successful and, being a basketball player, and like, I feel like a lot of jealousy stems. And like Michela, like I always hear like pretty girls, like there's always like that talk of like, there's a lot of jealousy. So that like becomes a thing where people hate you even though they don't know anything about you. They're just spewing hate because their mind, they're like, I want to be you and I can't. So that's what I drummed it up to. But it was such a weird moment to be like, I was like, I can't believe these fucking people hate me. It's like so weird. I was like, dude, like, leave me. Like, it's like, I'm sorry, like you're get all worked up about me, but I don't think about you at all. So it's like super weird.
Are you referencing that I'm a pretty girl and hate me, and it's not because I'm an actual bitch? Because I'm fine with that. But
Motley Crue. Fucking rock and roll.
Well, to be fair, I mean, no, that angle totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And, for people, and like, I know you guys well enough, and like, my personal history that I'm not going to display on the podcast, but like, I had to do a lot of shit myself. Why do you think I don't have roommates? Why do you think like I'm in a long-term relationship and we don't live together yet? Like, we've not, it's just because pride is one thing, but loving my independence is another. And I think you're the same way. I'm not proud. Like when I'm like, I really don't want to be alone tonight. Can I sleep over? Or like, there's nothing wrong with like needing help once in a while.
Yeah.
Like you said, relying on someone like 24/7, like you have to be really ready for compromise and, I mean, really just compromise and like accepting like what it's like to live with someone else, because that's a shared space now.
Yeah.
It's not, like, my big thing is I'll never, like, if we eventually take that next step, I'll never move into Cody's house and Cody will never move into my house.
Yeah.
We're going to find a space.
Yeah.
We're going to go find a separate space that's like ours and not like, because territory comes into it and we're mammals.
Yeah, you're right.
Not, you have to, and set your boundaries early when you date.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's crazy because I always think like and I think like this is why I was like I was good at what I did for so long, as I was like able to just get up and go. Like it was like sucked, and I was like, oh, this sucks. But like deep down, you're kind of like, all right, like let's fucking go. And I was like, and I'm still like that. Like I feel like the Viking in me is just like, they always said like Vikings can't sit still. Vikings always like want to explore and like go. And I'm that 100% is me. Like I want to. Like I'll just be sitting there, and it's like even like the quarantine, and it hasn't driven me crazy because I don't really give a shit. Like I'm not like a person who's like gonna be like I need to go to a bar and I need to like I'm just kind of like whatever, man. Like I'm laid back and chill, but like I do need to like get in my car and like fucking drive around or like go somewhere. Like I feel like if someone like parks behind me in my driveway and like I can't get out, and there's like, you know, you're parked in your driveway and there's a car here and there's a car here and there's a car behind you, it like used to bug me. Like my mom would come over and park behind me and there's like a car here, and I'd be like, the fuck, I like, what if I have to leave? Like I don't block me in. Like it was like this like claustrophobic. So I feel like there was like that part of me where I was just like, I just need to fucking go, man. I'm like, I'm not gonna like, I can get in my car and just be like, I'm gonna go take the dog and I'm gonna run around. And I just like, sometimes you just need that me time. And I feel like because I spent so much of my life playing overseas, I was by myself. Like most of the time I was by myself. Like it was just me in an apartment. And I like, now I like try to embrace that independence, and so few and far between. And I will say it's like tough. Like we talked about having children before. It's tough with a child to kind of have that independence, because it's like literally dad. And you're like trying to get work done. And like, I'm trying to put like finish the edits for the book, like do the cover. We talked about this earlier today, like at the cover shoot. And I'm like, it's like trying to organize all of these things that are coming, do the pie and like all these things. And then I'm like, she's just like sitting there like, and I have to keep reminding me, I'm like, Jesus Christ, all she wants to do is fucking like be next to you. Like, so I've always had to remind myself of like relationships and my dog, like, it's like they're mad at you because they want to be around you. Like they love you so much that they want to be around you, and you're like, and I'm just like, I have to keep reminding myself, like, they fucking love you so much that they want to be around you. Don't be a dick. Like, this is a good thing. Don't fucking push away like an asshole.
And Valentine's Day is all about all kinds of love imports. If you're just like, it's all kinds of love. It's not just about romantic love. And that, you know, we should have like a monthly episode that it's just therapy.
Yeah,
like,
it's therapy, man.
Turn this episode on, do yoga. Like yeah. just like this is just like therapy.
Just sit there, just do yoga, think about fucking Skylar Diggins or Cristiano Ronaldo, like whatever you do.
So, do we want to finish this?
Yeah, this is fun.
I don't know. John's like, I would like to go to.
I'm still drinking coffee, so I'm probably going to be up for like another hour.
Okay.
Those people
we could do
11:45 p.m.
We might have to bust this into a two-parter. Well, that's a conversation later. But who's most likely to show up with flowers or a gift on the first date?
John.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like saying it and you're just like, mm-hmm.
I thought of myself, I don't know. I consider myself a romantic, you know. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but you know, I do like to do nice things for the people in my life that mean a lot to me, whether it's my sons, you know, my sister and I are pretty close, you know, my friend, like I really consider myself like, you know, talk about people who are not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, but givers and takers. I definitely think of myself as a giver. So yeah, I'm definitely like you know, if I show up for a date and I really like this girl, I'm probably going to show up with something, you know, something nice, you know, to show that I care. So show that I thought, you know, before I rolled in there, you know.
And it doesn't even have to be flowers. Like I went on a date one time and I told him, I was like, well, I'm going to have to come right from work. Like I can't, you know, like he was like, oh, that's fine. And I got in the car and he had a nice coffee for me. And he was like, I thought you'd be tired after work. And like that literally was just like the nicest thing, you know, because it wasn't flowers, it was chocolate. He was like, oh, I thought you'd be tired from work. I'm like, love it.
It goes to like, some people say they care. Some people say, I love you, I love you. And again, this doesn't matter whether it's platonic love or whatever. They talk a big game. But when someone really thinks about you and their actions reflect their feelings, I really, that's one thing I've learned at 30. I'm 35 now. That's cool if someone wants to say something, but what are they doing? You know what I mean? And that's something I kind of hold near and dear. So yeah, I'm definitely if I care about something, then I'm going to do something to show that.
Do you guys know your love language?
No idea.
I had talked to this girl that was talking about that, and she made me like take a quiz. Apparently it's like this whole like
my third game, like that's
this whole philosophy about like what kind of person are you?
Right, because it doesn't just determine. Again, it's one of those things that doesn't like determine your romantic relationship.
Yes,
all of your relationships. So John, do you know what your love language is?
I took the quiz. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, you can't.
What are the things?
Words of affirmation.
What was it?
Words of affirmation. So saying like you had a great day today, or you're doing an amazing job, or you're such a great fiance, or things like that. There's gifts, and that sounds weird, but it's not. It doesn't mean he bought me a Bentley. Mm-hmm. It means like Cody's his gifts, and he doesn't believe me, and I'm like, it is. I'll stop by the 7-Eleven by his house. He loves body armor. He's on his feet all day. He walks like 15,000 steps a day at his job. And I'm just like, you're probably not drinking enough water. I pick him up a body armor, and every day it surprises him. And every day he loves it. It's not, so people say gifts, and it's like, it's not about that. Or it's oh, I saw this at the thrift store. It made me think of you. It's like things like that. Touch, like physical touch, like just hugs and kisses and snuggles.
I was like 2. Because you can be like 2.
You can be more than 1.
I was definitely like the touch one because I am kind of like a lovey-dovey kind of guy. But I don't think you said what else is there?
Gifts, physical touch.
Looking it up.
Acts of kindness is the 4th one.
I think that's what it was. Acts and 7 languages of love.
So Kevin, like acts of kindness are.
The quality time too.
Quality time. And so the acts of kindness one is, I unloaded the dishwasher, or like I paid the bills, or I organized the living room.
I remember I was physical touch and acts in the service one. It was like high in those 2 areas and low in the other 3 or whatever.
Look, Kevin's taking the quiz. He's like
Kevin, what would you say you are? I'm
probably like talking. Like that I need. I don't need gifts. I don't really need people telling me things. I guess like the touch. I mean, maybe some, but I feel like I'm the person who's like telling.
What do you feel like you need? Do you feel like you need that physical affection? Someone that does nice things for you, gifts, or like you just someone who spends time with you, or do you like to be told?
I'm more, I feel like the touch is like the big one for me. Like I don't really like I'm okay with, but like I don't need gifts or like anyone, but I don't need like, but like if I like people coming in and saying nice things to me, so that's always good. But like the touch is probably the biggest one probably for me.
It's funny, the girl that made me take the test, she was like, I think all guys are touch. And I was like,
I was just trying to think like too, like, and I'm like, is this like a PG touch or like, as we start getting, I'm just like, what kind of touch are we talking about? Because
All right. Well, I guess to end, why don't we? I mean, there's a couple more questions. They're a little. I was gonna say, break up with someone over the phone. I've done that. Date somebody just because they were foreign. I would vote Kevin.
Yeah, that's always a fun one. Just to say, like, there's even if you kind of have that, like, I and it's crazy, but like you have that Rolodex in your head, like, oh, this person and this person and this person and this country, and like, so yeah, that's always fun.
Do something embarrassing during adult time. like clumsy.
I feel like the welcome to my fucking high school career. Like that's like it was high school right there. Just like what, where? Okay. Like it's just yeah. I feel like everyone in that initial time. Like I think back to those memories, and I'm just like, oh my god, that was so fucking awkward. And it's like there's like those moments that make you cringe now, where you're just kind of like,
yeah,
oh my god, stop thinking about it. Like you're like tell yourself like don't go back there. Oh, that's so much better. Like, but there's some like awkward moments where I was like, what was I doing? Like, why was I like so awkward? Like that was so weird.
Because you were so tall. See, there's a downside to it too.
Yeah. There's the downfall. Fucking Justin Verlander.
Well, that's all I have for you guys. I played my little hostess role. Any last words? Anything about love? What do we want to tell the imports?
No, I think Valentine's Day, guys, it's like, and it's cool because like if you're overseas, and I know a lot of guys in relationships that are, long distance because of the situation, and like, because especially with COVID now, I feel like a lot of families are split up. So this is a tough one because I know you're kind of like alone, and if you're in a relationship that's fucking golden and you like it a lot and you like everything about your relationship, like, and this is gonna sound inappropriate, but like getting your dick wet for like 20 minutes might not be worth it. So I know you're by yourself and it sucks, but like, if you're in a relationship that's like the real deal and you're like happy as can be, don't fuck that up.
Yeah. I think that's how when you're in a real relationship, when like that like there's no way you're gonna fuck that up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like you're happy and you don't have eyes for like other people and stuff like that. So I agree with you, Kev.
Yeah. So that would be it. That would be my advice to all the dudes out there, especially now. You're struggling. You need that. Like we just talked about that physical touch. It's gonna sound inappropriate, but like there's other ways of touching. So yeah.
On there.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
We'll figure that one out. No, this is awesome, Michela. This is a lot of fun to come in and
Valentine's episode.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like when we talk, like we'll sit there and talk to and ask questions to like imports, and then the three of us get together and just talk, and like it's like 7 hours, and we're just like,
cool. Hours went by, and it's like, oh shit, I thought we were doing like 20 minutes. So like I looked up.
My bad. I thought it would be done sooner. But
hey, this is awesome.
Well, I had fun. You guys had fun. Great stories, great advice, and imports. We love you. We do.
Yes.
Yep.
Follow us, like us, buy the merch.
Yep. All the above. We're gonna inundate John with putting all those links.
This is gonna be like a week long like editing. I can't like.
Oh
wait.
my god, this is so long. Why did you mention that?
You guys are gonna be like, you got that episode ready? I'm gonna be like, fuck.
It's one big run. Just I don't think we messed up. I don't.
All good.
I think we're good.
I think we can keep going. But,
awesome.
Yeah. Well, now.
Guys, you guys are awesome. Michela, John, this is great. And everyone overseas, everyone not overseas, have a great Valentine's Day. Enjoy. Stay safe out there. Remember, COVID is still a thing, even, if your body parts are touching. So make sure you guys are safe out there, right? Overseas famous. Later, guys.